Yo, what's up, Walz Rantz? Game time. We are chilling. So, man, every time I can't get this stuff going down. So let me just, there's something going on in the news. And I was at work talking to my buddy, and he's like, yo, did you hear about this zombie face-eating guy in Miami? I was like, yo, whatever. And you listen to the story, and then more things come out. And I saw the picture. And I was like, oh, like it was freaking, it was just like disgusting. And so you're like, okay, then obviously the questions start being asked, like, first of all, what's this guy on? Like, what's this guy on? Because they say they don't know, they checked his blood or whatever, but toxicology reports take time, like weeks or months sometimes, to do it. And I'm just like, yo, they're saying it might be like some bath salt stuff, whatever, or LSD, and they're all going on all these things, and that's it's kids, like, it's a good lesson. Don't do drugs. Nah, I'm kidding. Just drugs are pretty good. Just don't do those drugs. Whatever the guy's got, but like, it's crazy. And then you start thinking, okay, who was the guy? And they said, okay, right away it was a homeless fellow. And then I started thinking, because like, it's crazy because I remember in the media they had the whole thing about, actually Family Guy did a gag about it. Everyone's got the understanding, like when like John Benet Ramsey was kidnapped, and of course would it not have been as big a deal if it was like a little black kid or whatever. Then you wonder if when I heard this, because it was so gruesome, so ridiculous, that was the main focal point, regardless of who it was. But then when you find out it's a homeless man, it's like, oh, that's kind of why you didn't hear about who it was too much. And then you wonder, okay, so then I started thinking, what's like the rundown of how of the importance and what would get more attention as far as the sympathy for the victim. Because let's be honest, like, don't sit here and tell me when you heard, because I heard homeless guy, I was like, oh, doesn't seem like that big a deal. That's terrible. Like, that's terrible. But my natural reactions are my natural reactions. I'm not gonna apologize for those. Like, that's how it is. It's not. I could deny it all I want. But so we look at it. Okay, so obviously the first one, number one, it was a white woman. That would be the most like, people just like, oh my, you lose their minds. Then white man. So women and man in every race or religion or race I can go through. And then it goes down, so I wonder what's next. And I haven't actually done much thought about this. I'm candidly talking about it because I don't know. I had to discuss it all myself. I figured, like, it would go down, obviously, like, the minorities, and, like, it'd be, like, I guess the black people would be, obviously, less, and then, like, Mexicans in the States would be lower, and probably the lowest, and then all the other ones, they probably, if the equivalent of in Canada, we would have, like, the native Indians, they'd be the last. And I'm not saying this in a race, but this is just how I know what I know about people. We would react least to them because they kind of like, whatever, stole their land. You think people care about their opinions or whatever? No, and them as people, no. And I'm not saying it in that way, but like, that's what's crazy about it, because like, when it's homeless, it seems like it's off the map. You know, and I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's our reaction as people. What does it say about us? It's just we respect people more because of their color. That's kind of weird. Like, I don't really like that. Like, I was saying today, I'm racist across the board in the regular man. I don't hold it against people, but I discriminate with everybody, and with joking wise or stereotypes. It doesn't matter to me. Whites, blacks, green, Chinese, Asian, like, it doesn't matter to me. But like, we as people, we actually see that, and it's kind of weird, because I bet you, like, and you can't prove this. I can't prove this, but I would think if you did that, you introduced this to people, and you had a hidden camera somewhere, and you told them who it was, I bet you, or maybe, this one's a tough one because the feat was so gruesome. The feat was so gruesome, but I just know the reaction would be different based on I guess the hierarchy, unfortunately is the word, but like, of what we are, the majority, the minority, whites, and the minorities, whatever. But like, that's kind of weird, I guess. But I don't know. I just think it was so messed up, and it's such big news, and it's something we don't hear about, but it's crazy. And like, whatever he's on, and that's what they're trying to figure out with the drug stuff. Like, how can this stuff not happen more? Is he like he's a pioneer of this drug? He's building. He's like manufacturing. Something's off. But obviously we hear more about it. But that's kind of what I took out about this. Like, regardless if it's gruesome and it's all whatever, the guy's in the hospital, this Popo guy or whatever his name was, and he might die or might live, or. But it's kind of weird. You know, it's kind of weird how we are. We just like But that I knew that, like I said, I equated it to the kidnapping thing, and then I would react differently. Or so, and just like I guess get the world in general, like look at what's going on in all these countries. In Syria, people dying all the time, and like people don't give a shit. Like people don't even like. It just seems like it's happening because it's almost a given that Arabs are gonna fight. It's almost a given that Arabs are gonna fight. So like them dying in all these wars and them dying fighting each other, it's like it doesn't matter. But if it's a white civil war, like what's going on? When was the last? Like I don't know. I'm not. See, my problem is I don't know much about like that kind of stuff. But like, if a white country's going at it right now, people would just lose their minds, wouldn't they? Wouldn't we all just be up in arms? There'd be way more involvement. Like I know the states try to get involved with serious stuff, and they just don't because they've got too many wars over this stuff. And I get there's involvement, but I'm talking about people, like the everyday people. We don't care as much unless it's white, and like that's kind of weird. And I'm like I said, I'm not trying to say it in a way like I'm any different, but I kind of am because I'm Arab myself, and I see how the West doesn't care, and they see them all as just these terrible whatever. It's okay, you know, it is what it is. That's the world we live in, and we all fall into it, unfortunately. But it's too bad that unless it's a white person getting abducted or whatever, and obviously like the Trayvon Martin thing happened, and everyone seemed to gravitate towards it, but it was because a lot of I guess celebrity black people got into it, so everyone's like, okay, might as well jump on the bandwagon. But the world's kind of messed up if you look at it that way. We're kind of messed up, but it's the world we live in. You can't really change that stuff. But anyway, that's Walz Rantz. Stay G, everybody. Don't eat anybody's faces. No, that's a bad joke. That's a bad joke. That's a bad joke. Anyway, that's a bad joke. Anyway, that's Walz Rantz. You know how I do. Peace.